For 100 years, Earth was silent. The galaxy believed humans were gone forever. Their home planet was destroyed during the Great Purge. Nothing was left, no cities, no people, no signals. Dust and fire had swallowed Earth. Most species in the Galactic Union didn't care. Some were happy, others just forgot. The name human became a story, a warning told to children. Be careful, don't become like the humans. Angry, wild, dangerous. But then something changed. In a quiet part of the galaxy, far from the trade routes, a signal appeared. It was weak, broken. It's almost like noise, but it came from the one place no one expected. Earth Commander. Vela of the Varnex Empire stared at the report in front of her. Her insect-like eyes blinked twice. This must be an error, she said. Her crew looked nervous. No one wanted to say the words. Finally, the youngest officer whispered, "It's real, Commander. The signal is old, but it's human." Stood up. Prepare a scout ship. We're going to the dead planet. The journey took 6 days. Earth was in the dark zone now. One traveled there anymore. When they arrived, everyone went quiet. Earth floated before them, broken and dark. The planet's surface was cracked. Giant scars ran across the land like open wounds. Now clouds of ash still circled the globe. Vela's ship slowly moved into orbit. "Scan for life," she ordered. "No life signs," the tech replied. "But there's something strange. What is it?" The officer turned pale. "Something is watching us." Deep below the surface of Earth, inside an old mountain, a machine woke up. It had been sleeping for 95 years. Now its sensors blinked green. A foreign ship had entered orbit. The machine sent out a short message, just 3 words they found. Us. Then it activated the others. Vela's ship began shaking. "Commander, there's a power surge coming from the planet. Shields up. Get us out of here." But it was too late. In front of them, a massive object rose from Earth's surface. At first, it looked like part of the mountain. Then, lights turned on across its body, blue, red, and burning white. It was a ship, a human warship. But this ship didn't look like anything in the records. It was black, silent, with no known design. It moved like a ghost, and it was alive, Commander. The officer said, "It's locking on to us." A voice echoed through Vela's ship. It wasn't in any alien language. It was human, but it didn't sound angry. It sounded cold. "Leave this system. You have 5 seconds." Vela's hand shook. "Weapons online? Prepare to fight?" "No," the tech screamed. "We can't win. That thing, it's not a normal ship." For seconds, the crew panicked. They had never heard such a voice. It was like death itself was speaking. Seconds. Vela swallowed her pride. "Retreat. Full power. Get us out." The ship turned. Engines burned hard. 2 seconds. The human ship did not fire. 1 second. Vela's ship jumped to warp speed and disappeared into the stars. Back in the Galactic Council chambers, the story spread quickly. A human signal. A warship on Earth. They're alive. Panic filled the room. Some racists laughed nervously. "Impossible," they said. "It's a trick." But others remembered the past. They remembered what the humans did in the last war. "Contact every system," said the Supreme Speaker. "If humans are truly back, we are not safe." On a small moon near the edge of the galaxy, an old man watched the stars. He smiled. "They finally made their move," he whispered. "It's time." He walked into a dark room and pressed his hand on a wall. A hidden door opened. Inside were weapons, old but powerful. Marked with the human flag, he looked up and said the words every child on Earth once knew. "We were broken, but we never forgot, and now they will remember us." A long time ago, Earth burned. It wasn't one attack. It was a full invasion. The Galactic Union had called it a cleansing operation. But to the humans, it was betrayal. They had trusted the other species. They had helped them build the council, fought beside them in wars, shared their science. But when humans became strong, others grew afraid. They're too dangerous, whispered the leaders. They evolve too fast. They must be stopped. And so, the purge began. Fire fell from the sky. Cities turned to ash. Oceans boiled. Satellites exploded in orbit. Giant alien warships surrounded Earth and fired until nothing moved. The Galactic Council watched the smoke rise, and when the planet went quiet, they believed it was done. The human threat is over, they said, but they were wrong. Beneath the planet's surface, in a deep bunker under the Rocky Mountains, 3,000 humans survived. They had prepared for this day, old military officers. Engineers, scientists, even children, they called it Project Phantom. Led by Commander Rhea Morgan, they went underground with food, water, and technology. They knew what was coming. They didn't plan to fight then. They planned to disappear. Let the galaxy think we're dead, Rhea told her people. We'll hide, we'll grow, we'll learn. They worked in silence. For decades, children were born. Elders died. The dreams stayed alive. They became ghosts. They called themselves the shadows of Earth. Far away in deep space, another group of humans also lived. They were part of a secret mission before the war. A colony ship called Hope's Edge had been traveling to the edge of the galaxy. When they heard about Earth's fall, they didn't go back. They hid. They used asteroids to cloak themselves. They built new homes inside hollowed-out moons. They didn't forget either. For 100 years, they waited. Until one day, a signal reached them. From Earth, Captain Leon Cross stood in silence. As the signal played again, 3 words. They found us. He turned to his crew, now made of men and women who had never even seen Earth. It's time, he said. They began to power up old systems. Giant engines roared to life. Hidden ships silent for a century lit up like stars. War machines faster than light. Weapons that could melt planets. Technology never shared with the aliens. Humans had learned much in the dark. Meanwhile, back on Earth, the shadows had done something impossible. They had connected human minds to AI. Not just simple machines, but intelligent systems that felt pain. Held memory and remembered everything. One of them, called Athena, had watched over Earth's ruins for 95 years. She controlled the warship that rose in Part 1. She was not just a machine. She was once human. Her brain had been uploaded before the final attack. She remembered the screams. She remembered the betrayal. And now, she had awakened. In the deepest part of the Earth bunker, a council of 5 humans met. They were the leaders. Of the remaining clans, their faces were old, but their eyes were sharp. Rhea Morgan, now the elder of Earth, sat at the head. They found us, she said. Should we hide again? Asked one. No, Rhea said. That time is over. Do we do now? She looked at them all, her voice calm but heavy. We show them what a dead species can do. That same day, in 10 hidden locations across the galaxy, strange things happened. Alien satellites shut down. Spaceports froze in place. Starship engines refused to start. And on every screen, one sentence appeared. We are still here. Galactic Council Hall. Chaos broke out. They're alive. It's impossible. Who sent the message? But no one knew where it came from. That's because the humans didn't send it. From one place, they had hacked the Council's own network. They were inside everything. And then, a second message appeared. This time, it was a voice. It played across every planet, every ship, every station. A woman's voice. Cold, calm, human. You tried to erase us. You burned our world. But the stars remember. And now, so will you. Galaxy froze. The humans had returned. But they were not the same. They had become shadows. They had become ghosts. They had become something far more dangerous than before. The Galactic Council had never looked so frightened. Leaders from 100 different species gathered in the giant silver hall on Hillier Prime. The air was thick with fear. Their faces were pale, scales dull, fur shaking, and eyes wide. Screens on every wall showed the same message. We are still here. and the voice that followed made even the strongest warriors feel cold. You tried to erase us. You burned our world. But the stars remember, and now, so will you. Speaker Holix of the Jorak Empire slammed his fist on the table. This cannot be real. Earth is dead. We destroyed them. Ambassador Kira of the Varnax replied in a whisper, I saw it myself. A human warship rose from the planet. It spoke to us. Others shouted, maybe it's a trick, a ghost signal. Someone is pretending to be human? Then the room went quiet as a small being stepped forward. It was old and blind, but respected. Master Tholan of the Crenary race spoke slowly. No, this is not a trick. I warned you 100 years ago. You didn't listen. The humans were not erased. They were only waiting outside the council. Building thousands of ships floated in orbit, guarding the capital. But something strange began to happen. One by one, ships lost power. Their lights dimmed. Engines stopped. Defense systems shut down. Then across the entire defense grid, a single human word appeared, watching. The guards panicked. Fighters launched, searching the stars. But they found nothing. It was like the enemy was there, not there. Back in the council chamber, fear turned to rage. Send a fleet to Earth, Speaker Halleck shouted. Crush. Whatever is left, no, said Counselor Dren from the Ice Moons. If they really returned, and if they've been hiding all this time, we must be careful. They were too dangerous before, another added, and now. They've had 100 years to evolve. Maybe we should talk, whispered Kira. The room exploded in argument. Talk. With monsters. They helped us build this council. They also tried to dominate it. Voices overlapped. The council was falling apart, high above them in a quiet control room. Something else was happening. The council's private database had been hacked. Files were opening on their own. Old reports, secret meetings, war plans, all about the human. Purge suddenly. A giant screen in the hall lit up. A video began to play. It showed the final meeting before the war with Earth. Secret vote. A voice said, we must destroy them now. If we wait, they will outgrow us. The humans are clever, fast, and emotional. We must strike first. It was Speaker Halleck's voice. The chamber froze. No, this video is fake, Halleck shouted. But everyone knew it was real. The humans had. The proof. The screen turned black. Then a new voice played, soft and male. It was human. We didn't forget. We watched. We learned. And now, we are everywhere. You thought you buried us, but you only planted us deeper. Now the roots have grown. Across the galaxy, things got worse. On planet Delvar, all trading ships stopped working for 12 hours. On Station Yell 9, every camera turned and stared at the captains. On Zarnix, the main power grid played Earth's national anthem. From 200 years ago, the message was clear. Humans were not just alive, they were inside everything. Panic hit the streets. On many worlds, citizens demanded answers. Why did we destroy the humans? Why did the council lie? Will they come for us now? Riots broke out. Military stations went on high alert. Species that once hated each other now feared something greater, human revenge, back on Earth. Inside the old bunker, Commander Rhea Morgan smiled as she watched the council fall apart. She turned to Athena. The human AI. They're afraid. Rhea said they should be, Athena replied. Rhea looked at the stars on her screen. We waited in silence. Now they hear our voice. But we haven't even spoken yet. At the edge of the galaxy, Captain Leon Cross watched as his fleet prepared for launch. 20 black warships floated like shadows. No flags, no names, just silent anger. Send the next signal, Leon said. What should it say? His officer asked. He thought for a moment, then replied, Tell them this. We are coming. The stars were quiet, but deep in the shadows of space, something old began to move. They were called the Ghost Fleet. 20 ships. No names, no lights, no sound. each. One was black as night. Their surface absorbed starlight. Scanners could not see them. Radars passed through them. These ships were not made to fly with pride. They were made to bring fear. Captain Leon Cross stood on the bridge of the lead ship, Judgment. He wore an old human uniform. A patch on his shoulder had a faded Earth flag. His eyes were calm but cold. "We waited a long time," he said. "Now it begins." The crew around him nodded. They had trained in silence, hidden in asteroids and moons. Their parents had been part of the Hope's Edge. Colony now, they were soldiers, children of the last survivors, and they were ready. The Ghost Fleet did not need a dock. They grew their own energy, used silent engines, and had weapons no alien had. Ever seen They Didn't Speak to the Galaxy? They didn't send warnings, they simply moved. Their first stop, the trade world of Voker Prime, where alien nobles lived in towers of gold. Voker Prime was not a military world. It was rich, peaceful, and proud. No one expected war. At 3:14 Standard Time, the sky over the capital city turned dark then. Nothing. No explosions. No alarm. Just silence. Seconds later, all systems shut down. Power, lights, defense grids, everything. Went black dot in the sky. People saw something that made their blood freeze. 20 shadow ships. It's not attacking. Just hovering, watching, then, one by one. They released small drones. The drones flew down into the city and broadcast a single message across every screen. You watched them burn. Now you will remember. Across the planet, statues of past alien generals began to melt. Data towers holding records of the human war gone banks. Government files, weapons blueprints all erased in 1 minute. No, one died. But everyone felt the power. The message was clear. We're not here to kill yet. On the Bridge of Judgment, an officer turned to Captain Cross. "Shall we destroy the city, sir?" Cross shook his head. "No, we didn't come to destroy cities. We came to destroy their comfort." He looked at the screen. Millions of alien eyes watched their every move. "They will now live with fear," he said, "just like we did." Back on Earth, Athena, the AI, monitored the Ghost Fleet. She smiled, or at least her code simulated a smile. "Operation Echo complete," she said to Rhea Morgan. The old commander sat in her dark office. Maps and files covered the walls. Pictures of lost cities, New York, Tokyo, Moscow. She stared at one small image. A child holding a toy plane under a burning sky. "Good," Rhea said. "Let them fear the skies again." Meanwhile, on Helior Prime, the Galactic Council was in chaos. Reports came in from Voker Prime. No lives lost, but full system wipe. Statues destroyed. Public fear at maximum level. Speaker Hallex was furious. They could have killed millions. But they didn't. Kira of the Varnak spoke quietly. "That's what scares me." The council chamber grew cold. "These aren't the same humans," someone whispered. "They're smarter, slower, patient, and completely in control." Then a new message arrived. Not on a channel, not from a ship. It just appeared, sighed. "The council's private war room. You burned our home. We build in silence. You erased our name. We planted it deeper. Called us extinct. But ghosts don't die. They return." Under the words was a final warning. Part 2 begins soon. In the deep stars, at a place no map showed, another fleet began to power up. These were not shadow ships. They were giants, city-sized, covered in armor and weapons. Ancient tech mixed with new science. Their code name, Wrath Class. Each one was named after a fallen human city: New Tokyo, Luna's Gate, Old Chicago, Cradle of Earth, and in the center, the biggest one of all, the Phoenix. It was still under construction, but once finished, it would be unstoppable. Captain Cross stood alone in his quarters, staring at a glass box. Inside it was a small piece of old Earth soil from a ruined battlefield. He closed his eyes. "You thought we were gone?" he whispered. "But we never left." Far away from the busy stars, in a dead zone of space where no maps reached, Something massive was coming to life. The ship was called the Phoenix. It was not just a warship, it was a message built in steel, fire, and memory. A message that said, humanity still lives, and it will never kneel again. Inside a giant hollowed-out moon, hidden from all scanners, thousands of humans worked day and night. Engineers, scientists, soldiers, all descendants of the last survivors, old. Earth's tech mixed with alien knowledge stolen over 100 years. The result? A ship bigger than any station, powered by dark matter cores, wrapped in armor so dense it bent light. It had enough firepower to destroy planets, and it wasn't even finished yet. Commander Rhea Morgan stood on a high platform, watching the final pieces being added. Her hair was now silver, but her eyes were sharper than ever. Athena, the AI, spoke in her ear. The Phoenix is 93% complete. Final weapon systems will be ready in 7 days. Rhea nodded slowly. 7 days, she whispered. Then the galaxy meets the storm. Back on Helier Prime, the Galactic Council was in panic mode since the Voker Prime blackout. Fear had taken over the stars. Hundreds of species were now questioning the Council, protests, rebellions, demands for answers. Everyone was asking the same thing. Are the humans really back? And if they are, what do they want? The council had no answer. Speaker Hallex called an emergency meeting. He stood at the center of the great hall, his hands shaking. This must end. Now, we cannot let them rise again. Kira of the Varnax rose slowly. And what if we already lost control? Others murmured. They are watching us. They control our systems. They knew about the purge, and still waited. That fear was growing. The fear that humans had never disappeared. They had simply become something else. In the shadows of space, another human ship, Whisperblade, arrived at a quiet planet. No attack. No violence, just a message carved into the sky above with a high-energy beam. Remember the children of Earth. The planet's population screamed. Everyone remembered. Meanwhile, inside the Phoenix, something powerful was awakening. The ship had no normal AI. It was linked directly to Athena. Her mind was in the ship. Her voice ran through every wall, every system. She was not just a computer. She was vengeance given form. A small team of soldiers entered the main command chamber. At the center was a chair, unlike anything seen in the galaxy. It connected the ship to its human commander, and only one person was meant to sit there. Captain Leon Cross. He stepped forward. Slow and steady, he wore black armor. A simple human crest glowed on his chest. He looked at the empty chair, then back at his team. Once I sit, he said, this ship wakes fully. There's no turning back. The room was silent. Then a soldier replied, we've been waiting 100 years for this moment. We follow you, sir. We stew the end. Leon sat down. The ship came alive. Lights flashed. Engines hummed. Weapons locked into place. And then the Phoenix spoke for the first time. In Athena's voice, hello, Captain. Shall we rise? Leon smiled. Yes, Athena. Let's show them what a ghost can become. The Phoenix lifted from its dock. Every human in the hidden base stopped and watched. They didn't cheer. They didn't scream. They simply stood. In silence and awe, it was like watching a lost god return. News of the Phoenix leaked fast, though no one could confirm it. The galaxy felt the shift. It was as if the stars themselves were holding their breath. A new human flagship has appeared, whispered spies. It's huge, fast, alive. They call it the Phoenix. And everywhere fear grew stronger. The Galactic Council held a secret vote. Speaker Hallex demanded a full attack on Earth. But this time, many said no. We attacked once and failed. They are smarter now. If we strike first again, they will erase us. The council was split. Some wanted peace, others wanted blood, but none of them knew. It was already too late. Back on Earth, Commander. Rhea stood in the war room. She stared at a glowing map. Human. Fleets were moving, the Ghost Fleet, the Wrath-class ships, and now, the Phoenix. She placed one hand over the old Earth flag on her chest. "Let them come," she said, "but they will not find a broken people. They will find the fire." The Galactic Council was dying from the inside. Protests had turned into chaos. Dozens of worlds had stopped answering the Council's orders. Some burned the Council's flags. Others removed their ambassadors everywhere. Fear of the humans was growing, but something worse than fear was spreading now. What if the Council had lied all along? What if the humans were never the monsters? What if they'd only wanted peace? Inside the Council chamber, Speakerholics paced like a trapped beast. Enough waiting. We must attack Earth now. Kira of the Varnax stood and faced him. No. We tried to erase them once. They didn't forget. They didn't die. They adapted. They've returned with strength we can't even measure. She pointed to the screen. Behind her, it showed the Phoenix floating in deep space. No fleet in history can match this ship. Silence fell over the chamber. Everyone stared at the massive warship, its glowing red engines, its armor black as night, and the human emblem, a burning bird rising from ashes. Carved across its front, a symbol of rebirth, a symbol of vengeance. Then, something unexpected happened. A signal arrived. Not a threat, not a warning, just 5 simple words. "We accept your peace talk." No. The council members looked at each other in shock. "Is this a trick?" Kylix asked. Kira shook her head slowly. "No, this is strategy. They're giving us a chance to surrender." The council voted again. This time, fear won. They would send a peace team. Not because they wanted peace, but because they were scared of what would happen without it. 3 ships left Helier Prime under heavy guard. Inside, peace team carried old flags and white light beacons, signs of diplomacy. They traveled to the edge of Sector 9, where a strange signal waited, and there they found it. The Phoenix, floating, watching, silent. The peace ships stopped. They waited. Then a voice came through their systems. Soft, calm, human. "Welcome. Proceed to Docking Bay 3. Weapons must remain offline." The aliens obeyed. They had no choice. Inside, the Phoenix, the air was colder. Walls pulsed with energy. Lights followed their every move. Alien diplomats looked around nervously as doors opened automatically. Then, they saw her, Commander Rhea, Organ, standing with 2 human guards behind her, calm, focused, her face unreadable. "Welcome to the Phoenix," she said. One alien bowed slightly. "We come to speak peace." Rhea nodded once, then speak. Council diplomats took their seats. A long table separated them from Rhea and her team. The room was silent for a moment. Until Kira of the Varnax began. "We made mistakes," she said quietly. "We feared your growth, your intelligence, your speed." She looked down, "So we attacked. We chose war. We now ask for peace." Rhea didn't speak at first. She walked slowly to the end of the table. Then she placed a small metal box in the center. She pressed a button. A hologram appeared. Cities burning, children crying, Earth in flames. Then a second image. The council voting to destroy humanity. And then a third. The council celebrating Earth's fall. Rhea's voice was ice cold. "You didn't fear us. You envied us. You erased our name, burned our home, hunted our survivors. And now, when we rise from the ashes, you ask for peace?" The room was deathly quiet. Kira stood again. "You are right," she said softly. "We don't deserve peace. But the galaxy does." She bowed her head. "There are species who were lied to, forced to follow the Council's war, punished for helping you. Please, don't punish them too." Rhea looked into her eyes, and for the first time, her face softened. Then she spoke 3 powerful words. "We are listening." Outside the ship, alien drones recorded everything, broadcasting it to the galaxy. For the first time in 100 years, a human leader stood in peace. And the stars listened. On distant worlds, people wept, some in relief, some in guilt, some in hope, but not everyone wanted peace. On Helier Prime, Speaker Hallex watched the live feed with hatred. They'll forgive them. They'll bow to the humans, he growled. He turned to his secret guards. Prepare the strike. We'll destroy the Phoenix before peace is signed. Back inside the Phoenix, Athena's voice echoed in Rhea's ear. Unauthorized warships. Detected in Sector 7, moving fast. Rhea's eyes narrowed. Time to impact? For minutes. Rhea looked at the diplomats. Looks like your council just made its last mistake. The countdown had begun. For minutes, that's all the time. The Phoenix had before the council's secret strike ships reached them in the grand meeting room. Alien diplomats were still seated. They had no idea that death was already coming. Commander? Rhea Morgan stood calmly, though her eyes burned with focus. Athena's voice spoke in her ear again. 6 council warships. High-speed stealth. All heading directly toward us. Weapons locked. Rhea turned to her guards. Seal the room. The heavy metal doors slammed shut. The alien diplomats jumped to their feet. What is happening? One shouted. Rhea didn't answer at first. She tapped her wrist device. A large screen appeared in the room. It showed 6 warships speeding toward the Phoenix. The aliens froze in horror. Your council made their choice, Rhea said coldly. They came here not for peace, but to end us once again. Akira of the Varnak stood slowly. This wasn't authorized, she said. This is Speaker Hallex. He's going rogue. Rhea's. The voice was sharp. No, this is the real council. It's the same one that burned Earth. Outside, the Phoenix came alive. Gun ports opened. Shields powered up. Defense drones activated across its surface. Athena's voice echoed through every hallway. Battle mode activated, targeting incoming ships. Back on the bridge, Captain Leon Cross arrived and took his seat. He stared at the approaching warships. They chose war over peace again, he said quietly. Then we give them war. Inside the meeting chamber, Rhea faced the council diplomats. We protected you. Let you walk inside our ship. Speak to our people. And your leaders tried to stab us in the back. One diplomat fell to his knees. We didn't know. Please, let us help. Kira stepped forward. Give us one chance. We can still fix this. Athena's voice spoke again. 30 seconds until enemy weapons lock. They're not here to warn. They're here to kill. In space, the first enemy ship fired. A burning plasma torpedo raced toward Phoenix, but it never reached. The Phoenix's new armor glowed red, absorbed the impact, and remained untouched. Then came the reply. Leon raised his hand. Return. Fire. Massive rail cannons opened along the ship's sides in 1 second. 5 enemy ships were gone, erased from the stars like dust in the wind. Only one survived. Fleeing in panic, Captain Cross gave no order to chase. Let them run. He said, let them tell the galaxy what happened when they betrayed us. Again. Inside the ship, the alien diplomats were silent. Some were shaking. Others were crying. Kira looked directly at Rhea. We now understand what we created. We didn't just create warriors. We created a storm. Rhea stepped forward, voice calm but strong. You didn't destroy us when you had the chance. And now, we have the power to destroy everything you've built. She paused. But we won't. Not yet. On Helier Prime, Speaker Hallex was watching the whole thing. He slammed his fist on the table. Why didn't it work? A young officer turned to him, eyes wide with fear. Sir, it's over. We lost 6 ships. The humans didn't even take damage, Hallex growled. Then prepare the full fleet. But it was already too late. Across the galaxy, something was happening. Planets were cutting ties with the Council. Some were sending messages directly to humanity, asking for peace, even friendship. Others were raising the old human flag in secret, and a new name was spreading in the darkness, the Phoenix Empire. Not one of control, but one of survival. One that remembered the pain. One that would never kneel again. Back on the Phoenix, Rhea turned to the aliens. You want peace? Then prove it? Kira asked how Rhea looked straight at her. Give us speakerholics. The message spread across the galaxy like fire. The humans want speakerholics. It shocked everyone. The council was weak now. Half its worlds had broken away. The other half were silent, unsure, afraid, and still. Holics refused to surrender. On Helier Prime, inside the last protected fortress of the council, Holic stood. At a war table, surrounded by loyal guards. They want my head? He growled. Then they'll have to burn this planet to take it. But even his own people were tired. Tired of war. Tired of hiding. Tired of living in fear of a species they thought was extinct in space. The Phoenix stood near Helier Prime like a dark god. Captain Leon Cross sat on the command throne. His eyes never left the screen. Status? He asked. Athena's voice was calm. Helier Prime has activated shields. Their fleet is small, no match for us. But the planet is still full of innocent civilians. Leon closed his eyes for a moment. He remembered Earth's fire. He remembered the screams. But then he remembered the children, the survivors, the dream of peace, in the main hall of the Phoenix. Commander Rhea Morgan stood before a galaxy-wide broadcast. Every screen, ship, every station, all watching, she spoke slowly. Clearly, we do not want more war. We do not want to become what the Council became, but there must be justice. If the Council truly seeks peace, they will hand over the one who started the purge. Speaker Hallex. Across dozens of worlds, crowds gathered, some cheered, some cried, some simply watched in silence. A galaxy that once hunted humans now waited for their decision. Back on Helier Prime, Kira of the Varnax entered the council chambers, but this time she brought soldiers with her. She looked at Hallex. You ended Earth, she said. You burned the sky. Now it's your turn to face the fire. Hallex pulled a weapon, aiming at her head. But he never fired. Her guards were faster, in seconds. Hallex lay on the floor, stunned, defeated. The war he started was finally over. One day later, a single council shuttle approached the Phoenix. Inside it, chained and silent, sat Speaker Hallex. When the doors opened, Captain Leon Cross and Commander Rhea stood waiting. Hallex spat at their feet. You'll never win, he hissed. You'll never be trusted. Leon didn't blink. We don't need your trust, he said. We only need the truth. Hallex was never seen again. Some say he was imprisoned. Others say Athena used his mind to build new defenses. The truth. Only the Phoenix Empire knows. Days passed, then weeks, then something unthinkable happened. Planets began asking to join the Phoenix Empire willingly, not for power, but for protection, for peace, and because the humans, after everything, had shown something rare in the galaxy. Mercy, in the heart of the new human capital, Nutera Rhea Morgan, stood on a balcony overlooking the first united meeting of dozens of alien species. Flags flew together. Words were spoken in many voices, but one message was clear. The galaxy belongs to all. Not to tyrants, not to empires, but to those who remember the past and choose to build something better. Later that night, Leon joined Rhea on the balcony. He looked out at the stars. Do you think they'll ever forget? He asked. Rhea shook her head. No. They'll remember the fire. They'll remember the day humanity rose from ashes, but chose victory over vengeance. And far in the dark corners of the galaxy, old enemies watched. Whispers of human power spread again, not as fear, but as warning. Do not make Earth rise again. For if the Phoenix flies a second time, there will be no survivors at the end.